No way video on an exciting new eyeshadow that's all the rage right now, and it's the Pastel Goth palette. Yes, this baby is cute. Oh my gosh, it's adorable. It looks like a pastel box. It feels like a pastel box. It is tiny and cute like a pastel art box, and I am loving it. And the thing is, it is color. It's all up my alley because it's all full of color. There is no shadow of neutrals in this palette. This is a rainbow, and you know what? I'm tired of neutrals. It's a neutral overload in this marketplace, and this is like a pastel box of fresh air. So I'm so happy, Kat Von D, you crushed it again with this Pastel Goth palette, and the packaging is once again her gorgeous artwork, her font, her printing, and of course the pastel font oozes with the pastel colors. I mean, yes, we see that kind of oozing everywhere, but this is a really nice rendition of oozing pastels. So that's what you get here, and then we'll go to the deets because this is the outside of the box, and as you can see on the outside you get the legend again on the back. It writes there here, I hope I'm not holding it upside down, here or here is the ingredient list. Now I kind of like keeping the boxes if I have enough room, and this is kind of small enough because I like to have the ingredients on hand because my eyes are super sensitive, and I'm a little bit of a little nerd, and I kind of sometimes like to have the ingredients on hand because you don't see it. It's not written on the Sephora website. I don't know about the Ulta website, but it's not written on the Sephora website, and it's not on Kat Von D's website. Speaking of Kat's website, we just got news today that hopefully by the time this video comes out, it will still be there, but it's Thursday today, and today Kat Von D is selling her metal matte palette. It's come back in and it's on her website. So you guys, if you want that metal matte palette, go for it, go check it out. And this is a fantastic, you know, I actually got this as a companion piece to the metal matte palette, but you're gonna see this kind of stands on its own 2 feet. So the deets again on this beautiful little pastel box of goodness is it comes with 8 matte shadows. Again, you see the packaging here. This time it's raised. The colors are in a rainbow that matches the inside of the palette here. Once again, a rainbow, and you can see, I'm probably getting ahead of myself because I wanted to do more of the mathematical, like nerdy deets, but anyway, you can see it comes with a mirror, and then of course the oozing design is on the mirror, and you can fold it all the way over, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So anyway, and then you've got the legend on the back once again, and it's done in a way that I always get confused with legends on the back because you don't know whether this is mirrored or whether it's right behind it. So the way they do it is that the way you look at it, star is on the left, and that's the way when you look at it in the palette, star will be on the left. So that's the way when you face it here on the back, star is on the left, and then when you open the palette, star is on the left. So that's the way they matched it up, so for you not to have any confusion. And of course, it's wonderful because she labeled the palette also here, so no confusion whatsoever. So the deets of this is that it is $39 US, $51 Canadian. Now I was kind of hoping that it would be more like $45 Canadian. But no, it was like, what is it, $12 more in Canadian prices? Yeah, read it in a week. So we always get stuck with it as Canadians. And so that is that, and so that works out to, and there's 1.7 grams of product per eyeshadow, which is the same as the metal matte. And if you want to compare it to any of the single eyeshadows, Makeup Geek is 1.8 grams. Anastasia Beverly Hills singles are 1.7 grams, and I believe MAC Cosmetics singles are 1.3 grams. So you're getting a good amount of product in here. Kat Von D never shirks on the amount of product. However, the cost per shadow in this is compared to the metal matte. Metal mattes gives you a good deal. It's, I think, $2.73. That's $2.73 per shadow for the metal matte. And then for this baby, it is $4.88. Now I'm talking US here. I'm not even going to try and figure it out what it is in Canadian. I think it's like $4.88 US and $6.39 or something like that Canadian per shadow in here. So you're not getting as great a deal, but I'm telling you, this baby is quite unique, and so it's kind of worth it in a way, because we'll get to it. It's very, very unique product. There really isn't that much on the market. Well, actually, there's nothing on the market like this, right? Now, the shadow characteristics, of course, you get 8 shadows in here. They are all matte because pastels are matte. They're not shiny. They're not really shimmer. They really do well as a matte because that's the way pastels are, art pastels. And I kind of believe that she's kind of riffing on the art pastel thing, because I mean the box looks like a box of pastels. It has that small, cute, tiny smallness of a box of pastels. This feels like it. Actually, in comparison, let's compare the size of this, because I forgot to do that, to the metal matte palette. Look at the difference so you can get an idea of the size here. Metal matte is a honkin', you know, piece of love, and then this one is like Miss Petite little thing. And compare it to the Modern Renaissance palette, you can see here. There you go. Oops, let's see. Am I doing this right? You can see right here how that looks. So it's shorter than Modern Renaissance. Pretty much the same length. Modern Renaissance is slightly shorter, but it's taller. So it's quite a petite. It's petite, but it's not tiny, okay? But it is a petite palette. But it's not shirking on the amount of color that you're getting in here because it's 1.7 grams. And then if you compare it to the metal matte palette, I'm gonna show you pictures because I made pictures of the metal matte palette along with the Pastel Goth palette. So you can see it here, and I'm going to put one here. So one of these is going to be the orange, yellow, and pink side, and the other one's going to be the green and blue and gray side. So so if you want to see, I'll just give you here because they're completely different. Though they are the same color family, she uses pretty much the exact same color family in here. Look at that, exact same color family. Actually, I'm going to hold it upside down so you're going to see. There you go. Exact same color family. All right. And then with the green and blue, you're going to see the same thing here. The gray, the green, the blue, the white. It's the exact same color family, but just family. The colors compared, the metal matte compared to the Pastel Goth is like comparing, it's like they're in the same family, but they are not twins. They are not siblings. They are like more like cousins. Kissing cousins, or like second cousin or third cousin once removed type of cousins. That's the kind of comparison it is. Metal matte is deeper, darker, murkier, and Pastel Goth is brighter, pastelier, has a white base to it. It's more vivid. So those are the difference between the two. And I want to get to the elephant in the room, because there is an elephant in the room. And that is the major controversy on whether this beautiful palette is actually pastel. Now, and then there is somebody that made a little quib, a comment on the first Instagram pics. I actually mentioned it in my makeup heads up video, which you can see. I'll put it up here. I think it's up here or here. Now I'm disoriented. I'll put it up in one of these corners, my makeup heads up. Anyway, first of all, the major controversy is whether this is pastel. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this is very pastel. It doesn't play as pastel-y in the palette, because if you went too light in the palette, it would swatch and play on your eyes and disappear. Like, it would pretty much not be there. It's denser looking in the palette, in the pans, but when you swatch it and put it on your eyes, you can see the characteristics of pastel. And the pastel we're talking about is not similar, it's not the same as that soft, wispy, almost not quite there, ethereal colors like, say, in a good example of that would be in Sephora's Pantone pastel kind of palette that they put out last summer. In the beginning of the summer, they had a palette like that. Not quite like this. This is more of a kind of a riff off of chalk pastel art pastels and the pastel goth movement, right? And pastel goth movement, you know, I know you're gonna get mad at me, but you know, everything's always morphing, always changing. And I know when you kind of started, I don't know too much about it, I'm not, but they tend to use more pinks and blues and blacks in their eyeshadows. But you know what? Pastels can go a little bit further than that. And I know you guys are inventive and the things are always changing and morphing. This is just another riff of it. And this is an amazing riff of it. And then the big elephant in the room is Jeffree Star's comment when the first pics of this palette came out on Instagram. They did the pic of the palette, the picture of the palette, and they did the swatches. And he made a comment on it saying that this, in essence, saying that it doesn't really look like pastel. But the hilarious thing is, really it is, because when it's swatched, it has that white base of a pastel. It has that almost, the only way I can describe it as kind of a chalky kind of look to it like pastels do, but doesn't do chalky. You're not gonna feel like it's like ashy, chalky, things like that, but it has that beautiful pastel-y, chalky art pastel thing going on. That's the only way I can describe it, but doesn't take away from the vividness and the brightness and the beauty of the colors on the eye. But the hilarious thing is, he did a pastel goth video. You can check it out and decide for yourself. And he did it in the summer, like I think it was May or June, so you can check it out. It's pretty much called Pastel Goth Tutorial Jeffree Star. And he used even more brighter colors that kind of remind you of pastel, but don't have that kind of white pastel-y base as these do. He used the Heartbreaker palette, the Pro palette of the Sugar Pills, and he also used Natasha Denona's, there's a sky blue like this, very similar to this, that he used from, and I think he used one other color from Natasha Denona's purple blue palette. Now, Natasha Denona's not really known for her pastel colors. Sugar Pill, a lot of goths will use that because it has a kind of a because they're known for their bright colors. They're not into neutrals, so they use bright, vivid colors. and so you can kind of get that pastel goth look. But guess what? It doesn't have that white base like a pastel. They're actually more brighter and vivider because they don't have that white base. And these are truly pastel. So you can go and check it out. And so he needs to kind of take back those words in a sense, because you know what? He was doing a pastel goth with not pastel goth colors. Well, I mean, he was using pastel goth colors because he was using the blue and he did use black and the pink, but they were not pastel-y enough, and this creates pastel looks, okay, but vivid and bright. No shade to Jeffy, because I don't like what he did in the past, but everybody needs to have a chance to move forward and, you know, change their ways. And it seems as though, as people have been commenting, there seems to be more of a softer version of Jeffy, which is wonderful. And that man has worked hard for his living. He's incredibly talented, and he works it, and he's, you know, and he's created what he's created out of hard work. And on top of that, I, you know, was curious to know about the man, and I watched some of his videos just to get a feel. And I'm telling you, minus all the amazing production value that he has in his video, it's amazing production value, and somebody is holding the camera. It's not on a stand. Somebody is actually doing the camera work. But that man can teach makeup. He really, really, really is good at doing step-by-step and teaching. It has a lot of substance to his teaching. He's incredible. And just as a teacher of makeup, I am so impressed with him. He just needs to take that professionalism and spread it a little further. And I think everybody grows. So hopefully he will grow and let go of whatever, you know, certain things. So anyway, we're going to move on from that. We're going to talk about the shades, because here are the shades of the palette. Now I just messed it up. So this is Star, and Star is this beautiful, like, sunshine yellow. This is Clementine, and I kind of think of it as like a peach sorbet, and then this is Meow, and I kind of think of it as a meowy type of lilac, almost verging on pink, and it almost kind of looks like pink on my eye, especially if I play it off with Dope, which is dope. I love purple, so purple is dope. And this is like a not a lavender purple, and then this is an amazing sky blue Doom. Don't know why they called it Doom. I guess it's because it's so pretty they had to make the opposite name of it. And then there's Gloom, which is I would call it a leafy green, almost to the seafoam color. And then you've got Dagger, which is like a gray, but there's almost like a blue or green in it. When it gets played off with Dope, excuse me, if it gets played off with Dope, it comes out blue, and that's what I have on my outer corners. And into my deeper crease is Dagger, and it's a little bit overlaid with Dope, and it comes out, I swear to goodness, it comes out blue. So it's pretty awesome. And then you've got Skull White. So what I have on my eyes, and if you would like me to do a video on it, I can, or do another look. And I've got Clementine in my upper hood. Okay, because let's face it, I've got a hood. So my crease is kind of underneath my hood. And so on my upper hood, I have framing. The top part is Clementine, and then I have what I mixed in was Dope, the two purples, the lavender, the pink lilac, and the lavender purple. So I've mixed Meow and Dope together in my crease. Then I put then I put Dope in my outer crease, Clementine on my lid, and then I topped it off with the outer crease with Dagger, and then deep into the crease, so it created almost a blue look. And then I added a little bit more Dope again to play off of Dagger into the a little bit above the dagger in my crease. So it kind of looks blue, kind of looks soft lavender, and then that kind of to just kind of give it a lift, the clementine on top. So that's how it came out, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I feel like I'm rocking summer right now, and I've just kind of gone all summer, spring summer look today because it is doomy and gloomy outside, and this is giving me some summer vibes like my little niece, who right now is in Australia and enjoying the summer heat, and this is the way I'm enjoying my summer heat with this Pastel Goth palette. So on with the swatches, and I'm also going to show you swatches of the Metal Matte compared with the very similar colors to each of the Pastel Goth palettes so you can see what it looks like together. So enjoy. So my final thoughts on this palette is that I find the colors are they are bright, practically vivid, buildable, blendable, and bold. And yes, these colors are blendable. They blend like a dream. They don't blend out. They don't get muddy. They don't get muddy with other colors. In fact, instead, they create a new beautiful color. Maybe it's because it's triple milled. I know I don't remember hearing about Metal Matte being called triple milled. That one is the mattes. Oh my God, they do not blend. That was one of the things I forgot to mention because I wasn't picking it up at the time, but as I played with it, especially with a lot of the mattes, the Metal Matte palette does not blend. It gets stuck, you apply, and you get the circle of pigment that's stuck there, and then you've got to try and blend it out, and it's like almost impossible. You kind of almost got to dig out your eye to blend it. I don't know what's going on with the mattes and that, but they're not easy to blend. I still love that palette. I will always love that palette, but it's not easy to blend, whereas this is the opposite. This is a blender blender's dream. And the amazing thing about it, even though they are pastel, they are vivid, they are bright, they are buildable, so you can start off going with it lightly for lighter tone skin peeps. You know, you can go very light and washed out with this, or you can build it up to very amazing vividness. So, and then for, you know, us tan girls veering on to deep, this is an equal opportunity palette, because you can go light with it or you can go quite vivid with it, and it will still stand out. You'll still have that pastel quality, but it will show up and it will build and be vivid on your eyes. So this is an amazing palette for that. And it still has that amazing pastel feel. Another thing I do want to mention, and this is what I always do with all my shadows, is that I use a base and I use our Urban Decay's Eden. And the reason why I use that is that I have a natural tint on my eye that actually looks like I've got like a neutral eyeshadow on my eyes. And even when for years I couldn't wear eyeshadow, a friend of mine used to say, "Oh, sweetie pie, don't despair, because you already look like you're wearing eyeshadow, so don't despair." She was such a sweetheart. So I will always, you know, hug her for that and always remember that, because that really, really helped me to get through that time when I could not wear makeup the way I wanted to. So anyway, now that I do wear makeup the way I want to, in order to cancel out that natural eyeshadow that I have, I use Urban Decay, but I use their Eden one, which has a not white, but it's a light cream base that's able to cancel it out. So not only it does a three-pronged effect for me. It holds on to my shadow, makes it last forever, without creasing or disappearing or muddying or getting oily. Then it also makes my eyeshadow keep the integrity of its color, so that it shows the true color of eyeshadow. And then also it basically cancels out my own eye tint, which I don't want it to show. So anybody who feels that they want to kind of cancel out their kind of eyelid tint to make the eyeshadow pop or be more true to color, this is a great way to go. Of course, everybody uses the one Milk by NYX. That's good, but I found out, I did a test and I was so excited by it, and the Milk didn't quite work for me, but I have to test it out more because I only did one test and I need to test it out in other ways, because I just used that and I didn't use my Eden primer underneath it, and I probably put a little bit too much of the NYX Milk and it just melted my eyeshadow like a mofo. So it just disappeared, it looked messy, and I've got oily lids, so it wasn't working for me. So anyway, and then on top of that, this is a very unique palette. There really isn't anything on the market. I said that before. There really isn't. There isn't anything on the market. The only thing I could say comparable to this in the sense of the brightness and vividness and the more like saturated type of colors, brights colors would be like Sugar Pill, but they do not have that kind of white pastel-y base that this has. So this is truly a pastel palette. Goths may question whether it's a pastel goth palette. I would love to hear your take on it in the comments section below. What you think. Is it a pastel goth palette, or do you even think it's a pastel palette? But I do, given my experience with these colors, given my experience with the shadows themselves, I really do believe this is a pastel, at least a pastel palette. No question about it, hands down. But you are going to get bright, vivid colors here, which you can go soft with, or you can just play it out and have fun with. This is absolutely perfection for spring and summer, and I'm still rocking it out now because I like color now and it can still work now. I'm sorry, it really can. And so with that said, I'm going to say yay! This is an absolute yay. I'm sure you knew it was coming. And I'm telling you, it's a woman of color, of every color friendly. So this baby is mine. all mine. If you really enjoyed this video and you like my take on the Pastel Goth palette, do give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about the palette. Of course, you know, as I said, Converse down, you know, apparently had a lot of controversy on whether it was Pastel Goth, as you know, even Jeffree Star got into it. So let me know your take on it, but I'm giving it the stamp of pastel approval. Do subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and do hit the bell button so that you will be notified of future videos of mine, of future reviews. And anyway, just remember, rock your own kind of beauty and keep on going and keep on glowing. I will. Over there you'll see a button with my face in it. Just click it and you can subscribe to my channel. And just underneath me over here is previous videos that you can click on and watch and keep on glowing and pixie smile.